Okay, we are almost running short of time, but we will make the best use of it. Good afternoon, everybody. You seem to be tired than me, actually. This is my fourth service for today, and I just have one more day, and tomorrow I fly back to India for my journeys to continue as such. So I'm just so excited to be here this afternoon with each one of you, and as you heard, my name is Prasad, and thank you, Pastor Freddie. Oh, there it is. And it's just so nice to come back to this place after 10 years of my travels. I'm just a very ordinary person. There is nothing big about me other than what Jesus has done in my life. So I'm here to quickly share my testimony and play two songs, one on the guitar and one on the pan flute as such. You know, I grew up in a family with very high expectations. My father, he designs aeroplanes, and being the firstborn in the family, I was expected to become like my father. And when I failed my father's expectations, I was considered to be a worthless child. And I was treated as the scum of my family, and I had nothing left to look forward to live for as such. I was born with asthma, and from the age of 2 till the age of 16, I was on wrong medication. And as a result of that, 60% of my lungs got damaged, and my immune system broke down, and I developed arthritis. And at 16, the doctors gave me 6 months to live. And I felt so broken and so shattered that I wanted to commit suicide. And at the lowest point of my life is when I heard the voice of Jesus. He said, "Benny, even though you are called useless, I still need you. I can transform your life and make you a new person." I said, "Jesus, I have nothing to offer. I have no talents, no education, no health, no money. Are you still interested in transforming a broken life like me?" He said he could transform me and make me a new creation. And I want to tell you, my friends, for Jesus to transform you, all that you need is to be available. No matter who you are, where you are, the first step for transformation is to be available to Christ. So I gave my broken life into His hands, and He transformed me and made me this new person. And part of the transformation is He put music into my life. In 2004, I got invited to play at the Olympic Games in Greece. Now that was a big jump from being a useless child to becoming a musician for the Olympic Games. But they strictly told me at the Olympic Games, you cannot share your testimony. Now, when Jesus has done so much in my life, where He restored the relationship between my father and me, He gave me value, He gave me purpose to live, He forgave my sins and gave me a new start, how can I keep Jesus secret? So I prayed to Jesus. I said, "Lord, they are telling me not to share my testimony, so help me to design a guitar the world has never seen, so that this guitar will attract the athletes to come look at the guitar and ask me questions. And in turn, I can share my testimony back to them." So that's how God helped me to design this guitar. Until today, it's the world's first and only guitar with drums inside. And if Jesus can take a broken person like me to designing an instrument that the world has never seen, God has a plan for each one of your life. You have to believe that. You have to trust that God created you with a purpose. Regardless of what your bank statement might be, your education, or your nationality, I just want to tell you that God has an amazing dream for each one of our lives, provided we surrender our lives into His hands and make His plans our plans as such. So let me play the song, "My Jesus, My Savior, Lord, There Is None Like You." Now turn off all the monitors, please. Even the microphone, I don't want any monitors, okay? I'll just unplug this cable. I don't want monitors. Can you turn it off, please? Yeah. this guitar, please mute the guitar. So I went back to Jesus and said, God, you could use broken life. You can take a person like me who had no musical talents. Because I went for music lessons when I was 15. And on the first day, the guitar teacher told me, please don't come back anymore. He said, you have no qualities of music at all. So I said, God, if you can take a person like me with no musical qualities to even designing a guitar like this, that shows that you have plans. In fact, the Bible says his ways are higher than our ways, and his thoughts are higher than our thoughts. In fact, the Bible says that he has plans for each one of our lives, not to harm us, but to prosper us. So I said, God, what is your dream for my life? And he said, Benny, I want you to travel to every country by 2010. I said, God, this is a wonderful dream, but I think you have forgotten whom you're talking to. Because I said, it is impossible for me to travel the world. I have only $25 a month being a YWAM missionary, and my health is so weak. I have an Indian passport which requires visas to almost every country. And history till today has not given an example of a musician who's been to every country. So I said, Jesus, how is this possible as such? It's just not possible. He says, Benny, trust me, what is impossible for man is possible for me. I said, okay, if this is what you want me to do, then you have to be my provider. So I made a commitment with Jesus that I will never ask for money, will never borrow money, will never take a loan from the bank or trust the credit card. I said, you provide for me, I will travel to every country, and one day, when I finish traveling, when the world asks me, where did you get the money, I can tell that Jesus provides. So let me show you how my passport looks as of today. So this is my one passport. So this one passport is a combination of 14 books inside. And this is a passport which is my proof of my travels to every single country in the world. And on 22nd of November 2010, I arrived in my last country, Pakistan, and I broke 6 world records. And one of them is I became the fastest man in the history to travel to every country in the shortest time. 245 countries, including Antarctica, in 6 years, 6 months and 22 days. You know, Antarctica took me 69 hours of flying time, India to Antarctica and back. And part of my travels took me to the most remote parts of the world, and one of them is called Pitcairn Island. Now, Pitcairn Island is the most remote country in the world. From the nearest airport in the South Pacific, it takes 2 days by boat, but the boat is available only once in 3 months. So I was going to do the first ever concert in 200 years. So they are excited, I am excited. We are all excited in it, and I reached the island, and at the concert, the organizer came and said, "Sir, this is the largest gathering we have ever had." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "The entire population of the country is 66 people, and 52 people have come for the concert. That is 80% of the country as such." So I've just been amazed at how God can take a broken vessel and take me to ends of the earth, take me to every country, the North Pole and the South Pole, to North Korea, to Afghanistan, to Iraq, whichever country, every single country, because He's faithful to keeping His word. And debt-free, I was able to travel to every country in the world as such. So having traveled to all these countries, I went back to Jesus and said, "Lord, what do you want to do with my life? I have no more countries left. 257 countries I've been to." And that's when Jesus says, "Benny, this is your last year of your travels. You have traveled for every country for the last 13 years, and this is your last year of your travels." I said, "Okay, God, what do you want to do with my life now?" He said, "Go back to India and build a cafe." And he told me to go and build this cafe mainly to reach out to young college students who are committing suicide. You know, India has one of the high rates of youth suicide in the world. And Bangalore, being one of the most educated cities, sadly is also the suicide capital of India. 10% of the suicides in Bangalore is between the age group of 10 to 14. And most of them are committing suicide because of the parental and educational pressure that they go through as such. So God told me, go and buy a piece of land. I said, "God, you have to understand buying coffee and buying land is 2 different things." And he says, "Benny, it is the same for me." I said, "As long as you provide, I will buy. because to sign is no problem. I always sign autographs, so that's no problem in signing another document. So I went to the landowner, I told him God is telling me to buy a piece of land. He said, sure. He showed me, I liked it. I asked him how much. He said $300,000 US. I said, wow, that's a lot of zeros in Indian rupees actually. And he said, how will you provide? Because I said, I want to buy. I said, oh, that's not a problem. God told me He will provide, so it should be okay. So he said, you have 6 months to pay. So I asked God, how will you provide? First thing He told me to empty my bank account. I said, God, I thought provision is always from that side, not from this side as such, But when God says you obey, so I obeyed God. And in 6 months, I had $200,000 US. I was shocked from where so much money came. So I gave it to the landowner. He told me, where did you get so much money? So I told him how the Lord provided. He says, this has to be Jesus. And he says, the rest of the $100,000 is my gift towards you. So I was able to buy. So I was able to buy the piece of land. So I went back to Jesus and said, so Lord, what do you want me to do with the land? And that's when He told me, you have to go and build a cafe called Chai 316, C-H-I-A-I, Chai 316. Chai means life in Hebrew, and Chai is tea in Indian language. In fact, after the service, I'll have some brochures in the back. You can pick up a copy and pray for Chai 316. So it's one of the most amazing cafes in the world. It's a 400-seater cafe where only tea is served. The price of the tea is decided by the students. And all the counselors will be trained as waiter and waitresses. So as they serve tea, their goal is to build relationship. Their goal is to sit down and listen to the problems and the challenges the students go through and share the love and the value of Christ. I hope one day you will be able to come to Bangalore, to Chai 316, and you serve. I was speaking at Singapore Airlines last week, and the crew members were saying that they want to fly into Bangalore and then take a break, come and serve Chai, and share the love of Christ back to our young people. So from Monday to Thursday, it will be a cafe. On Friday, it becomes a concert hall. On Saturday, it becomes a movie theater. And on Sunday, it becomes a church. So this place will be filled with activities of one-on-one evangelism. So our goal is to see about 3,000 lives transformed every year. So I told Jesus, this is wonderful. You gave me the money to buy land. You gave the vision. And when I went to the builder with the design, I didn't put the slide actually, but you can see it on the brochure. But when I asked the builder how much it cost, he said, it's going to cost you $600,000 for this 4-story building. I said, wow, why does it cost so much money? And he says, well, this is how buildings are built. Because I'm not used to building buildings. I'm used to flying and playing guitar. That's all I do. So I went back to Jesus. I said, Lord, it's going to cost a lot of money. How will you provide? He said, Benny, you use your CDs as your tool. And I said, God, you don't understand. This is the worst season for selling CDs. You see, even in our laptops, no more CD drives are there. So, and I, like my friends like Don Moen and Michael W. Smith, they said, Benny, this is the worst season for CD sales. All the sales have just gone down completely because of digital market. So I said, Jesus, this is not a good season for CD sales. He says, Benny, if that's the case, don't put a price for the CD. Let people decide the price. I said, God, you don't understand. I am from India. Anything that is free, they take it very seriously. And I said, so I don't think this will really work as such. But I'll tell you, when Jesus tells you to do something, you obey. And many times, what He tells you is completely unrealistic in the eyes of the world. But when you obey Him, you will really be able to find proof as such. Something is being played somewhere. Okay. And so I just said, okay, God, if this is what you want me to do, I will obey. But you have to know that this is not the right way. So I'm telling God what is the right way. But He says, just obey. And I'll tell you, it's been the most incredible journey of my financial journey. Then He told me for 1 year, you have to do 100% tithing. And I obeyed God. And it's been 13 months now. So in the last 13 months, I have performed about 500 concerts, and I have raised about $550,000, out of which $500,000 came only from CD sales. And the highest I received for one CD was $10,000. So God has His own ways of doing it. All we have to do is to obey what He tells us to do. And even this afternoon, once we finish, I'll be in the back and I'll have the CDs. Again, there's no price. You fix the price. And whatever you feel led by God, you're welcome to give. And 100% of that will go towards Chai 316. So I'm going to close with one song on the pan flute. 2012, I was invited to play at the Paralympic Games in London. And I was asked by God to pick up a brand new instrument, the pan flute. I said, God, when I can't even breathe properly with 40% lungs, how can I play a musical instrument? He said, Benny, if I could use 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish to feed 5,000, don't you think that I can also use the pan flute with your 40% lungs? So don't tell God how to do a miracle. You just obey Him. With $25 a month, He took me to every single country. And now, with 40% lungs, He's telling me to play the pan flute. And faith is something that you don't see, but yet you believe. And for that, you have to put it into action. Without that, you really can't experience faith. So first thing I went and I bought the pan flute. And I prayed. And in 6 days, Jesus gave me the wisdom to learn this instrument. And on the 6th day, I did my first concert. And within a month's time, I ended up playing at the Paralympic Games in London. So if God can do that miracle in a broken person's life, today He has a plan for each and every one of your lives. Don't remember that He chooses the weak things of the world to shame the strong, the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. If He can make my life useful, He has a plan for your life as such. So let me play this song, Great is Thy Faithfulness. And at some point, I'll ask you to sing along with me. And when I tell you to sing, you can sing the chorus. With 100% lungs, God has blessed you. You can do the best that you can. We have a thing to play the iPod? No?
Oh my God.
Sorry. Can you turn that on, please? Yeah. Start from the beginning. I'm an Indian, I finished 2 minutes earlier.
Go, 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 go.